Izumi is a strangely unlucky second-year student in high school who trips over often and attracts misfortunes. One day he heads to class hopeful he will share a class with the girl he loves, Shikimori, who has a near-supernatural ability to defend him from harm. They look through the name list and to his joy she turns out to be with him. They celebrate the news with their friends Nekozaki, Hachimitsu, and Inuzuka. Izumi's bad luck strikes during class, causing a series of mishaps, starting with his messy and awkward self-introduction to the rest of his peers. Shikimori steps in, saving him from a flying eraser, but takes a hit herself. Some classmates mock Izumi's clumsiness, suggesting that his bad luck might harm Shikimori, unaware that she overheard them. Izumi and his friends go to a bowling alley after school. Hachimitsu suggests Shikimori feign incompetence to appear cute, but she plays her best after Izumi's encouragement, even scoring a perfect game. Despite his struggles, Izumi is content just being with her. A bet is made between Inuzuka and Nekozaki, with Izumi asking Shikimori what she wants if he wins. She requests he walk her home, their daily routine. As they walk, a strong wind sends a newspaper sheet flying towards Izumi. Shikimori intercepts it effortlessly. Izumi apologizes, feeling pathetic for needing protection. Shikimori reassures him, but Izumi admits he's bothered by the truth in the classmates' teasing. Suddenly, a falling shop sign threatens Izumi, and Shikimori swiftly kicks it away. She takes his hand, telling him he just needs to stay by her side. Izumi confesses his love for her, and Shikimori dismisses her protective prowess as mere coincidence. They head home together, with Izumi feeling lucky to have her in his life. The school's ball sports tournament arrives, with Izumi's soccer match and Shikimori's volleyball match scheduled simultaneously. Before parting ways, Izumi takes Shikimori's hands, trying to pass her good vibes. Shikimori attempts to send him positive energy from afar, but it backfires when a ball heads straight for him. She tries to warn him, but it only distracts him more, and the ball hits his face. Shikimori rushes Izumi to the infirmary, where he apologizes for making her miss her match. She reassures him, happy to take care of him despite his feelings of inadequacy. While caring for his hair, she notices a large scar on the side of his head. Embarrassed, Izumi explains he's accumulated many scars from various accidents. Shikimori mentions she enjoys taking care of him, prompting Izumi to say that he can do the same for her. Shikimori playfully climbs on top of him, teasingly suggesting they get in bed, only to quickly retreat to the corridor, embarrassed. Meanwhile, Nekozaki cheers on Hachimitsu, who struggles with sports. Nekozaki notices Kamiya, the volleyball team's star, and greets her, but Kamiya leaves upon seeing Shikimori. The volleyball match starts poorly for the girls, with Izumi and Inuzuka joining Hachimitsu in the stands after their soccer match ends. Izumi cheers for Shikimori, who, upon noticing him, starts playing more seriously. The match turns around and the girls win. Izumi congratulates Shikimori, and they all celebrate in the classroom. Despite his envy of Shikimori's athleticism, Izumi is proud of her. However, their time together dwindles as Shikimori gains a following of younger fangirls. Izumi spends more time with Inuzuka, who saves him from accidents, much to Shikimori's jealousy. One day, Izumi walks home alone, reflecting on Shikimori's newfound popularity. He slips on the stairs, but Shikimori catches him, upset that he tried to leave without her. Izumi explains that he didn't want to get in the way of her fans. Shikimori confesses her jealousy of Izumi's time with Inuzuka, and Izumi laughs, admitting he missed her. They decide to walk home together, with Izumi feeling grateful for Shikimori's presence in his life. A few days later, Inuzuka hands Izumi a pair of movie tickets he can't use due to work commitments. Noticing Shikimori's gaze, Izumi eagerly extends the invitation to her. The night before their date, Izumi meticulously prepares, stuffing a massive backpack with everything he might need to combat his notorious bad luck. The bag is so bulky he can barely sit upright with it. Meanwhile, Shikimori frets over her outfit, poring over fashion magazines for inspiration. Her older brother pops in to ask her to keep the noise down and inquires about her plans. Shikimori mentions going to the movies with a friend, but refuses to divulge more details. The morning of their date, Izumi rises early and, despite a minor delay, arrives at their meeting spot to find Shikimori already there, looking radiant as ever. At the cinema, Izumi hopes to watch a romantic film, dreaming a perfect moment to steal a kiss. However, Shikimori insists on watching whatever he prefers, which frustrates him as he yearns to learn more about her tastes. To his surprise, she excitedly picks a horror movie, confessing her love for the genre despite the scares. Izumi, hoping to be her protector during the frightening parts, agrees. Once inside the theater, Izumi's plans go awry as he finds himself on the verge of sickness from fear. Shikimori takes his hand, squeezing it tightly whenever he's startled. After the movie, they decide to grab a bite to eat. Izumi wants to treat her to a fancy cafe, but he realizes he's lost his wallet, despite securing it with a string. They continue walking and bump into Izumi's parents, who invite them to lunch at home after hearing about their misadventure. During the meal, Izumi's mother accidentally sends a fork flying towards her son's face, but Shikimori swiftly intercepts it. Impressed, his parents shower her with food, and although Izumi apologizes for the chaos, Shikimori assures him she's enjoying the homemade meal. After dessert, Izumi dozes off, and Shikimori helps his mother with the dishes. His mother shares stories about Izumi's perpetual bad luck and clumsiness, explaining that it has shaped him into a kind, honest, and resilient person. Shikimori reassures her, promising to continue protecting Izumi. Izumi wakes up to find Shikimori and his father bonding over a video game. They say their goodbyes, and Izumi walks Shikimori home, his mother watching proudly as her son escorts his girlfriend. Along the way, Shikimori asks about Izumi's favorite movie genres, and they plan another movie date the following month. Izumi feels grateful for Shikimori's understanding and support, despite his constant misfortunes. As the summer approaches, so does the highly anticipated summer break. The group of friends gathers on the school's terrace to discuss their vacation plans. Initially, they all agree that a beach getaway would be ideal. However, Inuzuka brings up a valid point. Izumi struggles tremendously in the heat. The group swiftly changes their plans to a river retreat, but Izumi, feeling like a burden, steps out from under Hachimitsu's umbrella to protest. He insists that they shouldn't alter their plans on his account, but his friends reassure him that they want to go somewhere everyone can enjoy. The following day, the exam schedule is posted, signaling the start of a week filled with rigorous studying. Nekozaki cleverly persuades the group to take a break at the mall, where the girls can shop for their upcoming trip. Despite Inuzuka's persistence and complaints about their lack of study time, Shikimori pulls Izumi aside to ask if he plans on swimming. Izumi confesses that he likely won't, recalling his childhood misfortunes with sunburns and his overall bad luck. Shikimori, taking this into consideration, declines Nekozaki's invitation to buy two-piece swimsuits and decides to shop separately with Izumi. However, when Izumi's gaze lingers on a poster of a girl in a revealing swimsuit, Shikimori dashes off to make the purchase, using the excuse of going to the bathroom. Inuzuka, seizing the opportunity, leads Izumi to the food court to study. Meanwhile, Nekozaki finds Shikimori and is taken aback by her friend's daring swimsuit choice. Shikimori explains the situation, causing Nekozaki to laugh and reminisce about their competitive past. Nekozaki recalls how she first noticed Shikimori's intelligence and beauty shortly after she started dating Izumi. Their friendship truly blossomed during a PE lesson where they were pitted against each other in a basketball match. Shikimori's skill and competitiveness caught Izumi's eye, making him cheer for her, much to his girlfriend's chagrin. After the intense match, Nekozaki approached Shikimori, and they've been inseparable ever since. Back at the food court, Inuzuka commends Izumi's studious efforts. The girls return, and Izumi notices Shikimori's unusually cheerful demeanor. Curious, he inquires about her purchase, but she blushes and avoids the question. Their playful banter leaves the rest of the group wondering who has whom wrapped around their finger. Days later, the couple heads home from school, with Izumi on the verge of tears after his bad luck interferes with his exam, causing all his pens to break. Shikimori tries to console him, but to no avail. That night, she calls him, knowing he'd be wallowing in despair. She admits she just wanted to hear his voice, prompting Izumi to share his love for stargazing. He recalls his childhood fascination with astronomy and how his father's attempts to take him stargazing were always thwarted by rain. Touched by his story, Shikimori promises to take him to a place where they can see the stars together. Izumi, however, insists that it's his turn to take her somewhere she loves, but Shikimori confesses that being with him makes any place special. Izumi thanks her for making him feel better and expresses his desire to see her, but Shikimori, overcome with nervousness, abruptly hangs up. Despite the late hour and their family's disapproval, they both can't help but scream in excitement. Sometime later, Shikimori attends cooking classes with Motoko, Izumi's mother, hoping to improve her culinary skills and impress Izumi. The long-awaited day of the river trip finally dawns, and the group sets sail, eager for the fun that lies ahead. Upon arrival, they waste no time preparing for a barbecue. Inuzuka, surprisingly, struggles with the task, causing concern among his friends. Izumi, however, steps up and takes the reins, cooking with unexpected skill and managing to avoid any injuries. Inspired, Shikimori decides to whip up a special dish for her boyfriend. Once everything is ready, Shikimori presents her creation to Izumi, leaving him momentarily speechless. However, as soon as he takes a bite, he realizes that the spices are overwhelmingly strong, and he collapses to the ground. Shikimori, curious about his reaction, tries the dish herself and suffers the same fate. Despite this mishap, Izumi continues to eat, touched that she made it especially for him. The group sits down to enjoy their meal, with Inuzuka devouring the most food. After lunch, the kids crave something sweet, so Izumi prepares s'mores for everyone. As they all dig in, Izumi leans in to whisper to Shikimori, expressing his wish for her to try them. She agrees that they are delicious, but playfully licks chocolate from her finger, causing Izumi to blush. After cleaning up, they head to the water, but Shikimori holds Izumi back, taking his hand and mentioning that she hopes they can enjoy dessert alone next time. They dip their feet in the water for a while, but Shikimori appears nervous, clutching the strap of her swimsuit. Izumi suggests they join the others, but as Shikimori walks away, he notices a little girl being swept away by the current. Meanwhile, Nekozaki presses Shikimori about revealing her new swimsuit to Izumi, but she's too anxious to do so. Izumi dives into the water, meanwhile, to help the little girl, who initially hits him out of fear. He manages to guide her to the shore and help her climb onto some rocks, even retrieving her floaty. However, as he attempts to climb out himself, his foot slips, and he's swept away by the current. The group hears the little girl's cries and realizes Izumi is missing. Without a moment's hesitation, Shikimori grabs the girl and jumps in to rescue him. She reaches him just in time and pulls them both to safety. Shikimori scolds Izumi for his recklessness, and the rest of the group catches up, frightened for his well-being. The little girl's mother arrives to apologize, and Izumi approaches the girl, getting down to her level and asking if he scared her. The girl denies it and thanks him with a kiss on the cheek, making Shikimori slightly jealous. Determined to enjoy the rest of their day, the group tries their hand at fishing and splashes each other with water. Izumi, kneeling between the rocks, finally notices Shikimori's new swimsuit and compliments her on it, surprising everyone with his delayed observation. Later, they venture into town to buy gifts and clothes. Spotting a gelato store, Shikimori asks if Izumi wants some, and they all join the lengthy line. Izumi and Shikimori are the first to emerge, delighted with their ice cream. She offers him a taste of hers, which he nervously accepts under her watchful gaze. Just as he's about to reciprocate with an indirect kiss, Inuzuka swoops in and devours Izumi's ice cream. Disappointed, Izumi's friends offer him some of theirs, but Shikimori ends up consuming almost all of it without getting a brain freeze. Exhausted from the day's activities, they board the train home. One by one, everyone dozes off, with Shikimori eventually resting her head on Izumi's shoulder. He soon drifts off as well, reminiscing about the fun they had despite the chaos he inadvertently caused. Sometime later, Shikimori wakes up and, noticing Izumi has slumped into Inuzuka, gently pushes him back onto her shoulder. They sleep the rest of the journey away. Upon arriving at the station, Izumi and Hachimitsu can barely walk due to the day's exertions. Although the trip was a resounding success, Izumi ends up with sunburns all over. Later, while resting and chatting with Shikimori on the phone, he sees a news segment about the upcoming Summer Fireworks Festival. Seizing the opportunity, he invites Shikimori, knowing she's never been before. The day of the fireworks festival arrives, and as Izumi's father attempts to style his hair with gel, Izumi shares his plans to take Shikimori to her first festival. His mother suggests he wear a yukata for the occasion. Izumi's father grasps his shoulders, indicating he has something important to discuss. Meanwhile, Shikimori struggles to put on her yukata, prompting her brother to step in to help. However, he teasingly remarks that she's already clumsy enough without the intricate garment. Izumi waits impatiently for Shikimori, double-checking his bag to ensure he's taken every possible precaution. When she arrives, she's a vision in her yukata, and Izumi can't help but compliment her. Shikimori explains that the yukata was her grandmother's, and she's been eager to find an occasion to wear it. They venture into the festival, exploring the various stands and attractions. Izumi insists on buying Shikimori a cotton candy, even though she protests that he doesn't need to spend money on her. She explains that she's not usually a fan of sweets, but has grown to enjoy them because of him. They move on to the game section, where Izumi sets his sights on a cute wolf plushie. Despite his best efforts, he fails to win it, and the stall owner takes pity on him, offering a cat plushie instead. Shikimori, determined to win the wolf plushie, steps up to the challenge. Despite the owner's skepticism, she doesn't miss a single shot and wins the prize. To Izumi's surprise, she gifts the plushie to him, melting both his and the stall owner's hearts. As they continue to explore the festival, they encounter their friends who are also enjoying the festivities together. While the girls take photos, the boys engage in a competitive goldfish catching contest. Izumi loses almost instantly, and Shikimori, feeling the need to avenge him, steps in to try her hand at the game. However, she fares no better than Izumi. Noticing that the fireworks are about to begin, Nekozaki encourages Izumi and Shikimori to hurry to find a good spot. Izumi leads Shikimori to a special place his father told him about, but as they approach, her sandal strap snaps. Izumi quickly fixes it, but notices her feet are covered in blisters. He insists on carrying her, even though she protests that she can still walk. With Shikimori on his back, Izumi begins the trek to the secret spot. Along the way, Shikimori realizes they're not heading towards the festival and asks Izumi why. He explains that he still wants to show her the spot but doesn't want her to walk any further. She hesitates when she sees the steep stairs they have to climb, but Izumi reassures her that he wants to make her smile from the heart. Touched by his words, Shikimori begins to tear up. Upon reaching the top, they find a bench with a perfect view of the fireworks. Izumi confesses that he wanted to invite her to the festival the previous year, but was too afraid. He also admits that he wants her to see him as more than just a cute girl. Shikimori assures him that she already does, cherishing both his goofy and cool sides. As the fireworks display draws to a close, Izumi prepares to carry Shikimori back down the stairs. However, as he takes his first step, his foot slips. Fortunately, his father is there to catch them, revealing that he and Izumi's mother have been following them the whole time. They explain that the spot is a special place where Izumi's father used to take his mother. Despite the surprise, Izumi and Shikimori are grateful for the rescue, and they all head home together. The school buzzes with excitement as preparations for the annual cultural festival get underway. Izumi can't help but admire how adorable Shikimori looks in her costume for their class's animal cafe. On the first day of the festival, Izumi finds himself overwhelmed with tasks, and in his haste, he nearly takes a tumble. Fortunately, Shikimori is there to catch him just in time, saving him from potential disaster. The following day, Izumi is assigned to library duty. Upon arriving, he discovers that the only other person present is Kamiya. This encounter triggers a memory from the previous year when they were first paired together for the same task. Back in the present, Kamiya wastes no time grilling Izumi about the details of how he and Shikimori started dating. Meanwhile, Shikimori participates in the popular couple numbers game, where students with matching numbers take photos together before potentially starting a relationship. To her dismay, she doesn't draw the same number as Izumi, sparking a pang of jealousy within her. Sensing that Kamiya might have feelings for Izumi, Shikimori can't help but feel a twinge of unease. In the library, Izumi decides to share the story of how he and Shikimori became a couple. He recalls that during the previous year's cultural festival, they both drew the same number in the couple numbers game. However, in a twist of typical Izumi luck, he managed to lose his slip of paper. Initially, the student council president refused to make an exception, but after witnessing Izumi's genuine distress and determination, they agreed to let him and Shikimori take a photo together. It was at that moment, with the festival's lively atmosphere surrounding them, that Izumi mustered the courage to ask Shikimori out, marking the beginning of their relationship. Back in the present, as Izumi finishes recounting their story, Kamiya reveals a surprising truth. She was the one who drew the same number as Izumi in this year's game. In her mind's eye, Kamiya envisions herself as a princess trapped in a grand ballroom, yearning for her forbidden love, Izumi, who remains just out of reach. Back in reality, Nekozaki interrupts Kamiya's daydream, inviting her outside where Shikimori awaits. Shikimori, having discovered that she holds Izumi's number from the couple's numbers game, makes a bold request. She asks Kamiya to swap numbers with her. Kamiya agrees without hesitation, handing over her slip of paper. However, Shikimori can't shake the feeling that there's more to Kamiya's willingness to give up her number. Noticing the subtle comfort Kamiya exudes around Izumi. Later, having completed her duties for the day, Kamiya retreats to the rooftop to reflect on her feelings. She wishes she could bury her emotions deep within, but her heart aches with a longing she can't ignore. Just as she's lost in thought, Shikimori appears, holding out the slip of paper. She explains that she can't, in good conscience, take Kamiya's number, acknowledging the unfairness it would bring to Kamiya's feelings. Kamiya, however, remains resolute. She refuses to take the slip back, promising Shikimori that she will keep her distance from Izumi. Touched by Kamiya's selflessness, Shikimori tears up the slip of paper and embraces the tearful Kamiya. She encourages Kamiya to cherish her feelings, expressing gratitude for her kindness and understanding. After Shikimori departs, Kamiya wishes a heartfelt wish for their happiness, her own emotions a complex mix of sadness and acceptance. Meanwhile, Izumi takes Shikimori to a serene park, where he presents her with a heart-shaped locket as a birthday gift. Overwhelmed with joy, Shikimori tells Izumi never to change who he is, cherishing his unique abilities. Izumi, in turn, confesses that it is Shikimori who has changed him for the better. He vows to grow stronger, ensuring that she can always feel at ease when they are together. Moved by his words, Shikimori breaks into tears and embraces Izumi tightly, promising never to leave his side. Their bond, strengthened by the trials they've faced and the love they share, shines brightly in that quiet, peaceful moment. Feeling under the weather, Izumi sends a text to Inuzuka, asking if he can borrow his notes. Shikimori, upon seeing the message, can't help but feel a pang of jealousy. She decides to take matters into her own hands and asks Inuzuka if she can accompany him. However, their plans are quickly thwarted when Nekozaki sends Hachimitsu to keep an eye on them, ensuring they stay out of trouble. The trio finds themselves in a grocery store, where Shikimori enlists Inuzuka's help in selecting medicine for Izumi. She also asks him to choose between two types of candy, seeking his opinion. Hachimitsu, who has been observing their interactions, interjects with a revelation. She tells them that she's realized Shikimori views Inuzuka as an older brother figure, noticing the stark contrast between Shikimori's warmth towards Inuzuka and her cold demeanor with her own brother. Shikimori blushes deeply, confirming Hachimitsu's theory and feeling a mix of embarrassment and relief. Sometime later, Shikimori and Nekozaki encounter Kamiya at the mall. Nekozaki initially expresses doubt that Kamiya would want to hang out with them, but to her surprise, Kamiya eagerly accepts the invitation. Nekozaki is impressed by how playful and friendly Kamiya is with Shikimori, a side of her she hasn't seen before. The group decides to challenge two other girls to a basketball game at a nearby court. After a spirited match, they emerge victorious and gather for a group photo to commemorate their win. After Shikimori leaves, Nekozaki takes the opportunity to have a heart-to-heart with Kamiya. She confesses that she's always sensed a deep sadness within Kamiya and asks who or what brought the genuine smile to her face that day. Kamiya remains silent, not ready to share her secret, but she assures Nekozaki that she hopes to confide in her someday. As they part ways, Nekozaki can't help but wish for Kamiya to continue smiling and exploring new feelings. She hopes that Kamiya will find the happiness she deserves, just as Shikimori has found with Izumi. Despite their initial reluctance, both Izumi and Hachimitsu find themselves selected for their class's relay team in the upcoming sports festival. To bolster their chances, their friends volunteer to fill the remaining spots on the team. With a shared goal in mind, they commence rigorous training sessions after school. However, Izumi and Hachimitsu struggle to make significant progress, even as they continue to practice long after their friends have called it a day. The day of the sports festival arrives, and the atmosphere is electric with anticipation. Hachimitsu surprises everyone with her exceptional skill in the bag toss event, securing an impressive second-place finish. Her friends cheer her on, and their excitement is palpable as they witness her unexpected prowess. As the main relay race begins, Nekozaki's swift pace propels her to the front of the pack, setting a strong lead for their team. Hachimitsu, determined to give it her all, takes the baton and sprints with renewed vigor. However, disaster strikes when she trips and falls mid-stride. Despite the setback, Hachimitsu's thoughts turn to the joy and pride she wants to see on her friends' faces. With a surge of determination, she pushes herself back up and continues the race, fueled by the desire to make her team proud. Hachimitsu hands off the baton to Izumi, who promptly loses one of his shoes. Undeterred, he kicks off his other shoe and presses on, his resolve unwavering. Izumi passes the baton to Shikimori, who manages to recover some of the lost ground with her swift and steady pace. Finally, as the anchor, Inuzuka takes the baton and pulls off an incredible comeback, securing their class's victory in the festival. Overwhelmed with joy, Hachimitsu thanks her teammates, her voice filled with gratitude and pride. She declares that she had an amazing time, her heart swelling with happiness as she reflects on their collective achievement. The shared experience has not only brought them closer as friends, but has also instilled in them a sense of camaraderie and resilience that will stay with them long after the festival's excitement has faded. In his younger days, Izumi was extended an invitation by his friends to join them on an upcoming trip. However, he declined, haunted by the memory of how his bad luck had nearly caused them harm. The fear of putting his friends in danger again was too great for him to overlook. In the present day, Shikimori finds herself shopping for clothes for an upcoming date with Izumi, accompanied by her brother, Fuji. As they browse through the racks, a flashback unfolds in Shikimori's mind, transporting her back to her younger days. She recalls her time as a promising karate prospect, training alongside Fuji. One day, after Fuji revealed his decision to leave karate behind, he offered her some sage advice. He encouraged her to be true to herself, to stop trying to emulate him or their mother, and to forge her own path. Inspired by a romance manga she had read, Shikimori made a life-changing decision. She chose to leave karate behind, embracing a new identity as a cute and lovable girl, open to the idea of falling in love. On the day of her high school entrance exam, she caught her first glimpse of Izumi. She retrieved his exam ticket from a tree, but she felt she made a poor first impression. However, fate had other plans. On their first day of high school, their paths crossed again. Izumi expressed his relief that she was okay and his joy at seeing her once more. It was in that moment that Shikimori realized that she had fallen in love with him. Back in the present, Shikimori's eyes are drawn to a cute lipstick, but she hesitates upon seeing its price. Having made her decision on the perfect outfit for her date, she is taken aback when Fuji surprises her with the very lipstick she had been eyeing off. Overwhelmed with gratitude, Shikimori leaves for her date, her heart fluttering with anticipation. Fuji watches her go, his chest swelling with pride as he sees the confident and loving young woman she's become. For their date, Izumi and Shikimori find themselves at a bustling amusement park, eager to create lasting memories together. They start their adventure with a Sleeping Beauty-themed ride, the enchanting atmosphere setting the stage for a heartfelt conversation. Izumi, curious about Shikimori's aspirations, asks her if she has any dreams she's been chasing. Shikimori, with a soft smile, reveals that her dream of falling in love has already been fulfilled with him. As the ride nears its end, Izumi, lulled by the gentle motion and the comforting presence of Shikimori, drifts off to sleep. Seeing this as a perfect opportunity, Shikimori leans in to steal a kiss, but the ride comes to an abrupt halt before she can make her move. Despite the missed chance, they both laugh it off and continue to enjoy the park's many attractions, their laughter and joy echoing around them. As night falls, they make their way to a high-end restaurant for a romantic dinner. After their meals, Shikimori recalls a commercial for the park that featured a couple sharing a tender kiss. With a playful glint in her eyes, she asks Izumi if they can go do the thing from the commercial. Izumi, initially confused, starts reenacting various scenes from the commercial, much to Shikimori's amusement. It takes him a moment, but he eventually realizes what she truly meant. Seeking a quiet, romantic moment, they board a gondola ride. However, fate has other plans. A sudden power outage leaves them stranded mid-air, with only the faint glow of emergency lights illuminating their faces. Izumi, remembering Shikimori's fear of him drifting away from her, takes the opportunity to reassure her. He leans in and gently kisses her cheek, whispering words of love and promising to always be by her side. Overwhelmed with happiness, Shikimori embraces Izumi tightly, her heart swelling with joy. As the lights flicker back on, she exclaims that she couldn't be happier, not even in her wildest dreams. The magical moment they shared in the gondola becomes a treasured memory, a testament to their deepening bond. Back at school, Shikimori can't help but share the details of their date with Nekozaki and Hachimitsu. She vows to be more open-hearted, taking a cue from Izumi's honest and loving nature. Hachimitsu, seeing the genuine happiness in Shikimori's eyes, accepts her resolution, understanding that their happiness is what truly matters.